who made the entire world dance to his tunes, a warrior who never picked up a single weapon throughout the Mahabharat, and a lover who is still worshipped by the entire world. In the last episode, we saw how Bhagwan Ram destroyed evil while staying within the boundaries of Maryada, i.e., righteous conduct. But when the dawn of Kali Yuga was approaching and the cup of sins was overflowing, the rules of engagement had to change. Now there was a need for an avatar who would establish Dharma not through rigid boundaries but through supreme intellect and political strategy. He is the ultimate mastermind, the divine lover, and the cosmic strategist. Let us dive into the story of Bhagwan Shri Krishna. Chapter 1, Krishna Birth and Legend of Gokul. This story dates back to the final phase of Dwapar Yug. On a dark, rain-drenched night in Mathura, Devaki and Vasudev were imprisoned in a dungeon. Devaki's own brother, King Kansa, was terrified of a divine prophecy that Devaki's eighth child would become his ultimate doom. Driven by this fear, he had already brutally killed Devaki's first 7 children. But on this terrifying night, Bhagwan Shri Krishna himself was born. Right after his birth, a miracle occurs that dismantles Kansa's entire web of security. The prison guards fall into deep slumber, and the heavy iron doors unlock on their own. Vasudevji takes the infant Krishna in a wicker basket and sets out to cross raging Yamuna river. Crossing this stormy river was virtually impossible, but right then Sheshnag appears, expanding his massive hood like an umbrella to protect them. The Yamuna river gently touches Krishna's feet and parts to give them way. Vasudevji safely delivers him to Gokul, to the home of Yashoda Maiya and Nand Baba. This is where his childhood unfolds. Though he constantly faces various demons and crises, prosperity and happiness always thrived in Gokul. The first major incident was driving the serpent Kalyana out of the Yamuna river. His venom was so toxic that its deadly effect turned Krishna's complexion dark. Krishna emerges from the river while executing a divine dance on the multi-headed serpent's hood, a feat known as Kalya Mardan. Another magnificent event was the Govardhan Leela, when Krishna stopped the tradition offering made to Devraj Ind, and infuriated Ind unleashed ferocious storms and torrential rains to destroy the village. To shield the residents of Gokul from drowning, Bhagwan Shri Krishna lifted the entire Govardhan mountain on his little finger, holding it aloft like a massive umbrella. Krishna's love story with Radha in Gokul is also legendary. Their love was so pure and profound that even after their physical separation, the world could never pull them apart. To this day, they are always invoked together as a single name, Radha Krishna. Chapter 2, The Slashing of Kansa, the title of Ranchor. Kansa soon discovered that his ultimate doom was being raised in Gokul. Throughout his life, Kansa dispatched one terrifying demon after another to kill Krishna, like Putana, Bakshur, Aghasur, or Keshi. Yet, every single attempt failed. Each time, Krishna effortlessly brought an end to these demons with a smile on his face. Finally, the day arrived when Krishna and Balram were summoned to Mathura. Kansa deployed a mad elephant, Kuala Yadipa, and a massive seasoned arena of wrestlers to slaughter them. But who could stand against Krishna? Krishna grabbed Kansa by his hair, dragged him down from his throne, and finished him in a single strike. Mathura was liberated from his tyranny, and Krishna reinstated his maternal grandfather, Ugrasen, as king of Mathura. But the story does not end there. Kansa's father-in-law, King Jarasandh of Magad, became consumed by thirst of vengeance. He launched brutal attacks on Mathura, not once or twice, but 17 times. While Krishna defeated him every single time, he realized that the innocent citizens of Mathura were being slaughtered in this repetitive warfare. To protect the lives of his people, he took a step that the world might look back on as cowardice. Through standards of peasant rule, he abandoned Mathura for the safety of its citizens. From this defining sacrifice, he earned the title Ranchor, the one who flees the battlefield. Today, we still remember this tactical master stroke by that very name. Chapter 3: The establishment of Dwarka and the end of Jarasandh. Leaving Mathura behind, Krishna led his people to a place in the middle of sea that was completely safe from all sides. Then he had the divine architect Vishwakarma build a magnificent city, Dwarka. The golden city of Dwarka was so incredibly prosperous and wealthy that every household possessed gold and diamonds. It became the ultimate hub of wealth, power, and peace. However, the threat of Jarasandh still loomed large. Jarasandh possessed a unique boon. He could never be killed by anyone fighting him alone, and if his body was torn into two pieces, they would naturally reattach. To break this boon, Shri Krishna once utilized again his supreme diplomacy. He traveled to Magad disguised as Brahmin alongside Bhim and Arjun. He arranged a wrestling match between Bhim and Jarasandh. When Bhim found himself unable to defeat him, Krishna picked up a straw, split it in two in the middle, and threw the two halves in the opposite direction. Bhim caught the hidden cue. He tore Jarasandh's body apart and threw the two pieces in opposite direction, so they could never fuse back together, sealing the Jarasandh's ultimate demise. Chapter 4: The Strategist of Mahabharat and the Valor of Barbrik. Following the public humiliation of Draupadi and the Pandavas' 13-year exile, the arrogant Duryodhan flatly refused to give Pandavas their rightful share, denying them even 5 small villages. With that, war became inevitable. This conflict turned into one of the most destructive and catastrophic wars in our history, known to us as Mahabharat. In this war, Krishna took on the role of Pandav's guide and Arjun's charioteer. On the battlefield of Kurukshetra, when Arjun fell into profound moral dilemma about unleashing arrows upon his brothers, grandfathers, and gurus, Krishna paused time. The supreme wisdom he imparted to Arjun in that frozen moment is what we call the Gita Path or Bhagavad Gita. He taught that performing one's duty is the highest form of dharma and that the soul is immortal. There was also a warrior in this war who, had he participated, could have finished this entire mega conflict in a single day, though it would have left no side as victorious. That was Bhim's grandson and Ghatotkacha's son, Barbrik. Barbrik possessed an infallible mastery over mystical arrows, from which escape was impossible. To test this power, Krishna challenged him to pierce every single leaf of people tree with a single arrow. Barbrik unleashed his arrow, but Krishna had covertly hidden one leaf under his own foot. Barbrik's arrow tackled that hidden leaf by piercing right between Krishna's foot and struck his toe. This sharp impact turned the specific spot on his foot into a lone physical vulnerability, his mortal point. Barbaric had vowed to fight for whichever the side was losing. Krishna knew this rule would cause an endless loop, preventing the war from ever concluding. Therefore, disguised as Brahmin, he asked Barbaric for his head as alms. Barbaric severed his own head with a smile. Today, this very head is worshipped across the world in Kali Yuga as Baba Khatu Shyam. Barbrik's head remained placed on a hill until the final day of war, serving as the ultimate witness of Pandav's victory. Chapter 5: The conclusion of Mahabharat and the Gandhari's curse. After 18 days of horrific warfare, the Mahabharat reached its ultimate conclusion. Only the 5 Pandavas and Arjun's grandson Parikshit, whom Krishna miraculously brought back to life, survived. The rest of entire Pandu and Kaurav dynasty were completely wiped out. Looking at the bodies of her 100 dead sons, a grief-stricken and furious mother Gandhari cursed Shri Krishna, declaring that just as her lineage was destroyed, Krishna and his Yadu dynasty would also perish. Years later, that curse manifested. The people of Yadu dynasty fought amongst themselves and were completely destroyed. One day, Shri Krishna was resting under a tree in a quiet forest. A hunter named Jara mistook the sole of Krishna's foot for the eye of a deer. From the distance, he shot an arrow. The arrow struck perfectly on his toe, the exact point that had been rendered mortal by the impact of Barbarik's arrow. Using this minor arrow hit on his wound, he chose the timing of his departure. The Leeladhar peacefully relinquished his mortal body with a smile and returned to his supreme divine abode. So friends, this was the story of the great Leeladhar, who taught us that Dharma does not mean blindly following rigid rules, but making the right decision at the right time. His life serves as the ultimate management lesson and a profound spiritual guide. In the Ram avatar, we witness the Maryada. In the Krishna avatar, we witness the statecraft and divine love. But this divine saga of avatars is far from over. In the next episode, we will talk about the avatars whose arrival in Kali Yuga was prophesied in the ancient Purans. One who walked this earth to spread the message of peace and non-violence, Bhagwan Buddha, and the other avatar whose arrival to the end of Kali Yuga is the most highly anticipated, the Kalki avatar. Karma is your most powerful foundation. It is a cycle so bounded that even God himself bound to it across his avatars. So how can we human beings ever escape it? Until next time, Radhe Radhe.